Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Friday. You're tuning into Casual Convo Friday. Just me solo today. Nate is feeling a little under the weather, so I gave him the day off. But today I have a very special guest. This is Dan Hall. Dan is out of Maryland and has quite the resume, actually. He is an adoptive father to six children, ages 5 to 21. Amazing soul. I love that you have this huge heart. We were just talking about our children and riches and all of that, rich in love. And I'm so happy to have you here, Dan. We're talking today about how chaos breeds success. And I was so intrigued when you came up with this topic. I'm like, I've got to hear all about this. So, Dan, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here on Casual Convo Friday.
Oh, thank you so much, Tisha. Happy Friday, everybody. It is just such an amazing day as usual. And you can see all the chaos behind me. And there's a little story behind that because I asked Mama, that's my wife, Tina, I need a cool background for for these live streams, honey. And she's like, you have one. Literally, it's your background. And you know what? I went with that and it's just been amazing. It just shows, there's a lot of chaos in our house, but this back here is priceless
I
right
love
here.
it. You can see the
Yeah.
handprints that are right behind your
Yeah.
head and yeah, all your kids' artwork you said from over the years. That's
Yeah.
that's true love to me, Dan,
Yeah.
honestly. I love that. Well, thanks again for being on. If you are tuning in with us live this morning, whether on Facebook, on YouTube, or on LinkedIn, make sure to drop us a comment, say hello, say where you're from, and if you have any questions for me or for Dan throughout this broadcast, and make sure you ask those because this is real. It's live. Anything goes, and we're going to get on with the show. So, Dan, this whole thought of chaos breeding success, I'd love to hear in your words, what does that mean to you? Like, how does chaos breed success? Because I think a lot of people we try to control our lives so much, and we want this like picture perfect everything, and we've got this vision. But you're saying that chaos can actually be helpful in getting to that success.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't need any stories, although I have many to validate that. If you look at even, as individuals, when we fail, my wife and I are adoptive parents of six special needs children. And, when we thought we were failing, when we were going through this journey together, it was, it was really just, it really dragged you down. But
Hmm.
we realized over the years, I'm gonna share one story about how we started teaching our kids how to do sign language. And I taught my daughter when she was around 5 years old, 6 years old, how to sign. Just basic, please and thank you.
Hmm.
And she's 17 now, and she works in a restaurant. And she said, "Dad, I just had the coolest thing happen today. A lady came up to the register, and she was deaf, and she tried to order food, and somebody was helping her, and she said I brought her food back to the table, and I went, thank you." And the
Mm.
lady smiled, and it was just so heartwarming to hear that from her, that was reciprocated. And that whole journey of sign language was from chaos.
Hmm.
When my son, who's 10 now, he had fetal alcohol effects, and he came to us when he was 9 weeks. When he was 2 years old, I used to scream and yell at him because I didn't understand why he was screaming.
Right.
And my wife turned around to me and said, "You need to stop. You need to stop and listen with more than just your ears to what his needs are." And that whole journey of me trying to get over my trauma growing up in foster care and being abused was through my children. And my wife, just through all that chaos, got me to, you know, she didn't tell me to go learn sign language. I went and I learned it, and she learned it, and we just taught them the basics. And that has been one of the key tools for us, is just understanding our children, understanding what their needs are, understanding what their trauma is. So when they're having a hard time, we can work with them and we can put all of our feelings aside. It doesn't matter whether they're having the crappiest day. We can tell just what's going on in their brains. And we hold out our hand. Buddy, I'm not mad at you. Let's just go walk together. That touch is so powerful. Let's go walk together. Let's go sit down, and we'll talk about it. And they'll be like, no, I hate you. I hate you. And
Mm.
if you keep persisting at it for another 30 seconds, generally that hand comes out and the conflict is over. So chaos does breed success because it's all of those failures that we go through in life that get us to where we are today. Talking to you today, Tisha. This is a success for me. And all that failure, all that chaos leads up to this moment.
It does. Oh my gosh, Dan, you're going to make me tear up and cry today. Thank goodness I have my Kleenex. I want to take a moment because that was deep. That was good. And I so appreciate you saying that because you're right. I mean, there's a lot of parents that are in the house tuning into this. I know there's Royce Blake. I'm going to give some shout outs. We have Agron, who's his is Chow from Venice, Italy. So thank you for being on with us.
Oh,
Valerie
that's
Lawrence,
awesome.
who's here and she's a mom. Love this woman. I actually had her on my podcast, Success Over Struggle, before, and she has cerebral palsy. She has a couple of kids of her own, and she's trying to obviously show that she has the strength to her children and leading by example. Brian Schulman. Brian, I was just talking to
Brian.
Dan about voice your vibe, and he was showing me all kinds of fun things that he does for your live streams. And then Conrad Nelson is also in the house joining us off of Facebook. Yeah, voice your vibe.
Brian.
There's the
Yeah!
it's a good play for Brian. Big shout out to Brian. So thanks for sharing that. I agree. I think that sometimes we let our emotions run wild, and that's I think where the chaos runs in. And there's one thing that I learned. I know I was at church one day, and the question was, do you react or do you respond? Are you a thermometer or are you a thermostat? And I can honestly say that I was always the thermometer. Like I'd flip my lid, I would just like it was attack
Yep.
mode all the time. So very much like kids, they also have that idea of this reactionary mode instead of just let's calm down and let's talk about this and let's just take a breather and you just saying this, like you have such a calming nature about you, Dan. That's why I'm like, oh, I feel so zen just talking to you today. Thank you for sharing that. Um,
Oh, you're welcome. And I got to say something. I saw Valerie's message there, and I feel that loneliness, and I feel that caring that you must have, because I know our children bring out the best in us. So to have someone with cerebral palsy and just go through that journey, we have fetal alcohol, autism, just a whole myriad of issues that we deal with. And man, Valerie, God bless you for
uh,
what you do.
okay, it's happening. I'm breaking out my tissue. Oh my gosh! Thank goodness I have mascara on today. All right, Dan. This is a good interview. I love this. Okay, so on LinkedIn, I was looking at your brand. You talk about being an abusive foster care survivor, award winning foster adoptive parent to six amazing children. You also have in there that you're on Clubhouse as brand. And I wanted to bring that up. So tell us a little bit about what is your brand all about on LinkedIn?
My brand is not about telling or selling anybody anything. The acronym brand actually came and was sparked by Janiyah Iqbal, not through anything that Janiyah told me to do, but Janiyah and I clicked when my brother passed away last year in March. Him and I just clicked, we met, we connected, and I always watched his live streams, and that's how I met you, Tisha. And he's always talking about authenticity and being real authentic, and don't repeat what everybody else does. You have great people like Brian Schulman and Travis Lochner and Tim Sohn and Nancy Barrows, Nancy Deborah, they show up every day and they're authentic. So brand actually represents be real, authentic, and never duplicate. So BRAAND. But
Oh, I love it.
it also ties back into how my wife and my children have been, they've been my mentors and my trainers, um, because they've taught me how to lead. I grew up, from age 2 to 5 in foster care. We were beaten, we were tied down, left without food, often many times, and so all that chaos of negativity sits in your brain as a young child. And I didn't realize how much my parents had done for me until I was 40, until we got our first placement of 2 little girls. It was the first time I saw myself through their eyes, as a young boy. And just that journey of chaos, and to see where I am today is just amazing. But so the brand is not about, trying to sell you anything. It's about, teaching your children the basic leadership skills, you know, how to forgive, how to show up for each other. I mean, my gosh, the only thing I want our children to do after we're gone is to be there and show up for each other and to reciprocate kindness. That's all we want. We are definitely rich in love. We don't have all these fancy devices. Heck, you know what I'm using for a light right now? A Milwaukee thing, because I don't want to spend money on a ring light. I'm bouncing the light off a wall.
They're overrated, trust me.
I'm bouncing the light off a wall because that money for us could be used somewhere else. I mean, that's a Father's Day gift for me, but I didn't want to go out and buy a $30, $40 ring light. I'd rather spend $30, $40 on, doing something for our kids that's going to bring out the smiles and the feels. So, that's the brand to me. That's our personal brand. And that's really what it means. So it's helping people, reciprocating kindness, and walking my talk with other people, and not trying to help them and then look for something back from them.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. I think that's always the wrong way to go about things, is if you have these expectations on people and then you just get
yeah,
disappointed. Like, "Dan,
yeah.
okay, well, I had you on my live stream, Dan. Well, how come I'm not on your live stream, Dan?"
Because I don't have a live stream.
I know, just joking with you,
I
but,
know.
it's that thing, and I am, I love the book, The Go-Giver. I share this all the time. I've been fortunate to be able to interview both of the authors on my podcast or on these live streams. And I just love it. I love that the whole message that they're saying is give without this expectation. It's going to come back to you in so many, many more ways. It may not come back from that person per se, but it does come back to you when you have that kindness and you have that heart to help other people. And
Yep.
that's my brand, Dan. Like that's what
Yes.
I want to do. And, and those are the people that I want to surround myself with. And if you're not that person, if it's a what's in it for me all the time, then I'm going to slowly move away.
Yeah,
Run
and
away, maybe.
you hit a good point there, Tisha. For those people that are going through a lot of chaos right now,
Mhm.
and they're having some tough times, one of the best things you can do for yourself is get rid of all the minutia, and not really get rid of, but start associating yourself with people that support you and that understand what you're doing. I can tell you from experience, when we became foster parents, we lost a lot of friends. They just up and left because they didn't understand our
Sure.
parenting style. They didn't understand the trauma. They didn't understand why our kids were going to their house and stealing their stuff. They didn't get it. So
Mm.
we had, now most of our friends are either people that are online, that are kind of shielded from the way we parent, or they're other foster and adoptive parents that understand. Yes, we understand you 100%, how you have to parent and how you have to show up for your kids.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. I want to give a big shout out here to Tim. Tim Sohn is also joining
oh,
us off of
Tim,
LinkedIn. He's saying hi, Tisha and Daniel and Brian Schulman. And he has a
love
great
you guys.
comment here. Yeah, let me go ahead and put this up on the screen. It says start associating yourself with people that support you and understand what you're doing. Love you, Daniel Hall. Oh, you
Love
have
you
some
too.
great supporters here, Dan.
Yeah. Thank you.
I can see I feel the love. My gosh, it's coming through my eyes right now. No kidding. I'm reaching for more tissue. All right, good stuff. Dan, tell us one more time for people who missed it. We were talking about brand because I love this acronym so, so much. Tell us one more time what it means.
Be real authentic and never duplicate.
And never duplicate.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. We talk about authenticity all the time, but I like that and never duplicate part. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're
So,
welcome.
how do you feel that chaos has attributed to your success? And we may have answered this a little bit. I know you said that it's kind of led you to where you are now, but do you have some other examples or how it's attributing to your success now?
Yeah. When I was 8 years old, well, first off, my parents, the Halls, Maggie and Jerry, they had their work cut out for me because I was a holy terror growing
Mm,
up.
I don't
And
believe it. I don't believe it for a second that you were a holy
yeah,
terror.
yeah, absolutely. And when they were trying to find the one thing that would allow me to thrive on my own. And my mom did that. She would go to her church function, and the college was right up the street. Back in the 70s, you could do that. You could drop your kid off and you don't have to worry about predators and stuff like that. So she would do that. And I would come out of the college, out of the computer center at 8 years old with these great big huge stacks of green bar paper.
Mhm.
And I would sit down with my mom. She was bored off her ass, Tisha. And she would sit there and show up and just take so much interest and praise me for everything that I had done. Now, 43, 44 years later, I'm still developing software. It's my passion. It's what I absolutely love to do. It's my balance. So my mom helped me understand that life wasn't about that chaos. Not just my mom and dad, that life isn't about chaos and you can flip that chaos around. And she helped me to understand that by helping me find my balance. And up until about 15 years ago, I honestly didn't give a shit about anybody or anything,
Mhm.
just because I was still trying to figure out that trauma in my life.
Mhm.
If somebody died or passed away, I'd be like, okay, and it could have been somebody that was close, but I didn't know how to grieve. I didn't know how to deal with that. So it was just brush it under the rug and keep moving. Now, with all the feels from our kids and just getting that, I mean, you might see, if we're still online here, my kids are going to start running through the door because they're looking for pictures of these guys. I had to babysit today. They're
Oh.
looking for pictures of these guys in various places, pictures and movies of them watching me, watching this, watching that. But that's the stuff that those are the feels. It trained me by them helping me understand them. They trained me that those feels are so important to them. That just pictures on my phone of those bears in different places shows that I made them important. It doesn't matter what pictures are on there. They just don't wanted to know that I made them a part of my day for them. And, you know, taking a couple minutes out of your day to make your kids happy, my gosh, that's priceless.
And I think that people mistake that it has to be this grandiose adventure. I mean, my kids get so excited when I'm like, "Hey, I have a buy one get one free at Bahama Bucks. Let's go there and play games. You can get whatever flavor
Yeah,
you want." I love that. Like a couple Fridays ago, my son's off on Fridays. I mean, my goodness. He's like Monday through Thursday. He only goes to school Monday through Thursday, Fridays off. I'm like, I wanted that schedule when I was growing up. But I'm like, I'm home, you're home. Let's go do something. It's in the middle of the day. Let's go play some checkers or some Connect Four and just hang out. And I took a great picture of him with his blue tongue, and we're just hanging out at Bahama Bucks. And I was like, this is what life's about. Like we
you
make it
got it.
so much about things and materialistic stuff, and it's like, oh, it doesn't have to be that way. So I am so much in alignment with what you're saying, Dan, that it is all about the feels. It's
Yeah.
all about the adventures, the moments, and we got to stop thinking it's all about the things. The kids don't care
So,
about those things. They don't care
yeah,
about those things.
I think we were talking about, the small things. And I was telling Tisha that I have another mug that says size matters. And my kids got it for me for Christmas. And it has a ruler. And a lot of people misconceive that as an innuendo or something like that. But for me, it has a totally different meaning. When my autistic son comes to me screaming in the morning because he doesn't want to go to school because his ears hurt from the fire alarm, he's
Mhm.
terrified every day to go to school. He thinks that fire alarm is going to go off. And for him to get his socks on, all right, buddy, you did a great job. Let's go to the next step. Let's get our clothes on, let's get our shirt on. Great job, buddy. Those little tiny things help our children to get up those huge, huge, huge rungs in life. And if you can't understand that, you have to take a step back and get to know more about your children and get to know more about what makes them tick and get to know more about those feels, because it is just that size matters to us. It's go small or go home. Don't go
Mhm.
big or go home,
Mhm.
because those small things are really what counts.
Absolutely. Tim saying, you are radiating big smiles today, Daniel Hall. I love it. Thanks so
Thank you,
much, Tim,
brother.
for chiming in. And then we have a comment from Royce. He's joining us off of YouTube saying, another reminder to realize you have no idea what people or prospects are going through. Never assume.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You don't know. You don't know. So I feel like showing up and giving grace and showing kindness is really the best practice, right? This is what you should be doing every time. Don't
Yeah.
assume, don't judge. You never know. You never know. So what would you say, Dan, for people who maybe are going through their own level of chaos and really struggling through it right now? Are there some words of wisdom or some advice that you can share with people who are just having a really tough time? What would you say?
Definitely, definitely, make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that do understand you. There's some great people here on LinkedIn. I came on LinkedIn in 2008, and it was on the platform, and I probably had 600 followers at that point in time over the
Mhm.
course of 12, 13 years. And when I met Janayad, it was just all of a sudden I found myself being surrounded by just some amazing people that supported me. I mean, I've trained 400 plus inbound foster and adoptive families. And when COVID hit, I didn't get to do that anymore, but that was my therapy. That
Mhm.
was my therapy. And I lost that. So, meeting Janayad and being able to go on these live streams has helped me to really, really understand that, that all that chaos has led me to these points in times that where I am now. And for those people going through all that chaos right now, if you really take a look at where you're at in life and you look at those chaos factors, everything in history, all the Civil War, COVID, look what it's done. Look what that chaos has done. It's completely shifted our society to rethink everything that we're doing. And for those people trying to deal with chaos, take a look at your life. There's places that you've changed that have been so great and so profound. Take and run with those. Don't always dwell in that chaos. There's other people out here that can help you navigate that.
I've always said that, people, I get a lot of people asking me, so how is COVID? How did it treat you this year? And I said, actually, I feel like it was the biggest blessing in disguise I've ever
Yeah,
had.
yeah,
And to your point, Dan, I mean, you even mentioned it caused us or forced us to rethink and not just stay down. I
yeah,
mean, my business has gone through so many different pivots because of different circumstances and I think for this I was like, wow, I know I can get back up. I know I can be stronger than this
yeah.
and do it this way and work something out and figure it out and it all started to work out the way it should and I was like, there you go. Like so I'm not sad. I'm not like, wow, I wish I didn't have to go through that. Like, I was like, actually, it was a pretty good blessing. And there were a lot of positives to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Homeschooling was a huge shift for us.
Hmm.
But you know what? My wife just she nailed it. It was still tough. It's tough when you have kids with special needs that just they have a tough time with change in the first place.
Right.
And then it was at home learning, back to school learning, at home, back to school, and there was no consistency whatsoever. But man, she just has this way of reaching into your soul and finding the best parts of you and capitalizing on those. So
Oh, sounds like a
COVID,
great woman.
oh yeah, she is. Yeah, she is.
We have a comment here from Valerie. Valerie is saying, practice gratitude daily, even if you have to put on a gratitude alarm to make you remember what you're grateful for and what really matters in life. Oh, speaking my language, girl. In fact, I do these lessons in my car every Friday. Dan, you might have seen them, but I'm talking about this very thing because I had a situation where there was a little bit of complaining and nagging going on in my family. And
Mm-hmm.
I have a 9-year-old daughter, Ellie, and she's so smart beyond her years. Like when I talk to her, she's like talking to an old soul, like my
Yep.
girlfriend, right? My best friend, and love that we have that relationship. And I just love that she came out and she's like, but at least you have this. At least we have this. Imagine that other people don't have this. Like she's so great about putting it into perspective. And I think that that's what you were even sharing earlier, that leadership starts at home.
Yes.
Leadership starts here. You, like Valerie, you get up and you're like, I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful that I have legs to walk out of this house and do my thing. Like always start out with that gratitude.
Yep. So
Mhm.
there's a routine that we go through every night with our kids, and it's about forgiveness, and it is about being thankful that we get to get up the next day and start over. So we ask our children, what's tomorrow? They could have the worst day ever,
Right.
or I could have an off day. Mommy could have an off day. And we'll ask them, what's tomorrow, buddy? And they'll go, a new day. And a new day for what? A new day to make the best day ever.
Yeah.
But that routine of consistency allows them, they know that whatever happened during the day, we're not mad at them anymore. It's gone. It's wiped clean. The slate is clean. We're starting tomorrow fresh, and they can lay their heads down and get a good night's sleep and start the day not worrying about us forgiving them, because they have enough trauma on their brains from the fetal alcohol and everything else that they're trying to
Right.
deal with, the
Mhm.
self-regulation. They don't need to add the complexity of us being pissed off at them. It's just not worth it. So they learn forgiveness. They learn being grateful for the new day that's there, and they start fresh every day. So
Oh my goodness. That is
yeah.
such a great lesson, Dan. Okay, those of you who are tuning into this live or the replay, I want you to caption that. Start with a fresh day. At the end of your night, forgive. Know that tomorrow is a fresh day. Even if you had the shittiest day ever, it starts fresh tomorrow.
Yeah.
Go into it with a new day. Good stuff. I love that because so many of us want to take the past with us and we can't. We can't. We need to leave it in the past and go forward with the new day.
If I looked at all the burned bridges I had growing up, and somebody asked me, what would you change? What would you tell your younger self?
Mhm.
Absolutely nothing. Do everything the same, because at this moment in time, I'm on with Tisha. And if I changed one thing, one lifting of the finger here or there, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have my kids. I wouldn't have my amazing wife. I wouldn't be here. And part of that whole journey of chaos breeds success, leaving that chaos behind and starting the new day is part of that success, not only for you as a parent, but you as a caregiver and your children, and just teaching them how to reciprocate kindness. That's such an easy thing to do.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Dan. I know we are wrapping up here. There was one question that I wanted to ask you. How is it that Dan Hall wants to be remembered?
Um, on my epitaph, I would love to be remembered as a man that learned to reciprocate kindness by failing often.
Failing often.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This was deep, Dan. Oh my gosh. I think I'm ready for my tissues again. I want to thank you so much for being on the show with us. And I want to give a shout out Luis Melendez just coming on with us from LinkedIn saying, "Good morning, Tisha and Daniel. So true. Today is the first day of the rest of our lives. What are we going to do with it?"
Yeah.
There's a, I don't know if you listen to Christian music. I love Christian music. And there's one song, and I'll
My
just say,
favorite band is Mercy Me.
oh, Mercy Me. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Matthew West is one of my favorite artists, and there was a song, and you know, you always have that one song that really just changes your whole life. Do you have that song, Dan, that you're like, this just changed my whole life, my whole thinking? Do you have one?
That was the Mercy Me song. I can only imagine.
Oh, I love that song. I can
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
imagine. So for me, day one, I grew up Catholic and now I'm Christian, but you know, day one is a song from Matthew West that just talks about like the past and like today it's exactly what you were talking about. Like today is a fresh day. Today is day one of the rest of your life. What are you going to do with it? Just like Luis is saying. If you guys haven't
Yeah.
listened to it, I'm going to throw it in the chat once we're off live so you can tune into it because it is like it's a catchy tune and it's something that'll just lift your spirits. And you know, it's kind of my theme song. That's what
Awesome.
I love
Awesome.
it. I love it. Great song. All right, Dan, is there anything you want to share before we wrap it up and say farewell?
Yeah, I do. Um, with all this chaos that was out there in the world, I've seen, and I'm a tech guy, so um, we've seen many shifts in technology and Clubhouse and everything. But there's one, and I'm not affiliated with this software or app called Owl. It's OWWLL.
Mhm.
But it's just I was approached a week and a half ago about the founder with from the founder, and it's still in beta, but it's just such an amazing piece of software. People like me that give away their time quite a bit and volunteer my time,
Mhm.
it allows you just to log on to the application, fill in, a little bit about yourself, and then you can put in your rates and people can pay you for your time. They know exactly when they're going to call, what the rate's going to be. So if you want to book Gary V for like 10 minutes, it's going to cost you like maybe,
$1,000,000.
yeah. But it's just, you look at the unemployment and the chaos going on in unemployment, and I don't ever ever praise apps that much. I'm always about the security and stuff, but
Mhm.
the potential behind this app called Owl is just phenomenal. So it's if you're looking to get past that chaos, and like I said, I'm no way affiliated with them, but I've enjoyed using it, and it's just, yeah, something that people should check out.
Nice. Okay, let me
Yeah.
write that down. Owl. Spell it one more
O
time for me.
OWWLL.
All right, we'll put that in the comments too. All right, Dan, it has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for kicking off Casual Convo Friday. We were off a couple weeks just for vacation and other conflicts, but loved having you on today. It was such a pleasure meeting you, and thanks to everybody who joined us live or is watching the replay. Appreciate you tuning into Casual Convo Friday. Dan, have an amazing weekend with your six and your lovely wife. She sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody taking time out of their life to tune in.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great Friday and weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye.